Hello and welcome to MissouriNet.com. I'm Bill Pollock, joined again as I'm every Monday with Jason West from MSHSAA, and we take a look at high school sports, kind of preview what's coming up. And Jason, let's start first with the first of many championships that'll be coming up, but wrestling and swimming and diving right around the corner.
That's true. We've got the districts for wrestling coming up this weekend on Friday, Saturday at a few locations. There's 4 different locations for those district tournaments, and then they will all feed into the championships the following weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the girls swimming and diving championships will be next Friday, Saturday as well.
All right, and then something interesting, maybe from a historical perspective in terms of wrestling. What can you preview for the wrestling championships?
Well, in our preparing the programs and things like that, this is going to be one of the first years and several that we have not had any possible 4-time champions. We're kind of in that transition period where we have some younger wrestlers coming up that have multiple championships, but it's looking like we're not going to have any 4-time champions this year, which is good and bad. Like I said, that's kind of that transition period where the old guard is kind of moving out and the young guard is coming up. So that's fun to watch.
Yeah, we'll have some new blood and some new champions. That will be interesting. Last week, we talked about the RFP process as you look for basketball venues. And then we had talked a few weeks ago when we were still trying to figure out what was going to happen with the Rams. Were they leaving St. Louis? And we talked about how MSHSAA was kind of keeping an eye on that because what is the Dome? Are they going to keep that up? What's going to happen there? So now that we know that the Rams are leaving for Los Angeles, where does that put MSHSAA in terms of keeping an eye on the football venue? And maybe you can just explain what your relationship with the Dome is season by season.
Well, that is one thing that we've had to accommodate for with our relationship with the Dome and the CVC is the fact that it is a year-by-year relationship. And we had to wait until after the NFL schedule came out to know if we're going to be able to use the Dome for that Thanksgiving weekend. If for some reason the Rams were ever given a home Thanksgiving Day game, then we were going to have to find a new venue or possibly adjust the schedule to be able to play the Show Me Bowl in the Dome. Excuse me. And that's mostly because of logistics, being able for the Rams to have their game. A lot of the setup that they do for our games comes on Monday, Tuesday, and a little bit of Wednesday of Thanksgiving week because of the unions and the workers that the Dome has to hire to put those games on and adjust the field and adjust the goalpost or put new goalposts in for high school and things like that, get the game ready for the 8-man game on Friday. They do that on Monday and Tuesday during their regular work week, so we don't have to pay overtime for them to be there to get those games ready. And so that's the biggest reason, that the logistics of getting those games ready was the biggest reason why it was a year to year. And if they played on Thanksgiving Day, we wouldn't be able to play in the Dome.
So now what happens? Have you had other venues reach out to you? Have other venues been in close contact with you to say, hey, if things pop up, we can help you out perhaps? What's the latest from that standpoint?
Well, we're still putting the packet together to be able, and we're looking at hopefully by the end of this month, if not sooner, we'll have that available for venues to look at. There have been a couple of venues that have reached out to say, hey, we want to make sure we're on that list to get the packets. There's some communities that are putting together a strong following, trying to get certain games. And obviously the CVC in St. Louis has reached out and want to make sure that they are able to put in a bid to keep the Show Me Bowl at the Dome itself. So we're certainly looking forward to seeing the interest statewide. And certainly on the media side of things, there's been a lot of interest in the story and things like that. So it should be a lot of fun to look at some of those bids that come in and the proposals that are with them on possible venues.
Now, I would think that as time wears on, upkeep of that turf, how, what would the Dome do or the CVC in terms of maintaining the turf? You have to look at, I'm sure, player and safety issues. That becomes a factor. There's no other indoor facilities in the state, are there?
Not large enough to host our games. There are some indoor facilities. Obviously, Mizzou has an indoor practice facility. The Chiefs build an indoor practice facility at Missouri Western for their training camp that they host there each summer. And so there are a few indoor facilities like that, but not big enough to be able to host all of our games. You might be able to play 8-man in there, for example, but you would still have to bring in stands. You'd still have to bring in things to accommodate the game. They're just a building with a football field in it, so they're not really what you're looking for as far as that goes. But as far as an actual playing venue, yeah, the what used to be the Jones Dome, I don't know if they've officially changed the name yet, but the Dome in St. Louis is the only playing facility that we know of in the state. And hopefully if there's more out there, we'll find out through the RFP process. But the turf is certainly one of the biggest questions we have, is with it only being used 2 days out of the year, you would think there'd be more longevity in it. But that has to be tested every year to make sure it's still safe, because you're basically putting carpet on top of concrete, and we want to make sure that that's as safe as possible for the student athletes to play on. Also, locker room facilities, are they going to be maintained as locker room facilities? Are they going to be turned into more office space or meeting rooms, or become storage rooms that have to be cleaned out before we get in there? I've been told that the city of St. Louis is actually trying to come up with ways to be able to use that facility as well, with the possibility of hosting regular season games there on Friday nights for either each week or at some point during the season. So it may get some more use out of it, but those are just some of the concerns and questions that we've had, and some of the discussion points that we've had with the CVC and the people that run the Dome.
All right. Well, we'll certainly keep you or keep up to date as to what happens. What's the timeline right now as far as you guys are concerned?
Well, again, we'd like to have the packet out by the end of this month to give venues and possible sites and cities time to put a packet together. But we'd love to have an answer by next fall, so going into the season, everyone knows where the championships are going to be.
All right, good stuff. And Jason, we appreciate your time. Of course, this hangout brought to you by Missouri NEA. If there was a teacher or faculty member that meant a lot to you, had a big impact on your life, they want to hear about it, teacherwordsmatter.org. Share your story and a chance for you to win $500. Jason, enjoy your week. How was your Super Bowl? Did you have a party or anything? What'd you do?
We had a party of 3. It was just my wife and son. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but we did draw squares.
Yeah.
I was able to win my money back. So overall, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, and I'm the same way too. I don't like going to parties. I like to just be able to sit, watch the game, hear what's going on, watch the commercials. Although the commercials were lousy this year, but those
there were only a few good ones. I would admit to that. But
yeah, so yeah, I just like watching the game and just being able to analyze what's going on. So I don't like a lot of stuff going on around me.
It did help my ego too that when it came to watching football, I was the smartest guy in the room for the first time in a very long time. So that was one of the good things about not having to go socialize with other people.
Good stuff. All right. Well, listen, Jason, thanks a lot for your time. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Thanks for watching us here at MissouriNet.com.